Saturday morning. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to Toledo News This Morning. I'm joined by University of Toledo film professor Holly Hay, who directed a new documentary film alongside a small group of University of Toledo film interns. Hay joins me now via Zoom. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell me about the film and what people can expect from it?
Sure. It's a 30-minute documentary that follows two men. One is on the inside of prison, named Larry Thompson, and his reentry mentor is Pastor Joe Hofflinger, who lives in Sylvania, Ohio.
What is the importance of getting students involved in this project?
Well, hands-on learning experience, a sort of work learning experience, working on in a crew as a team for a project that has nothing to do with their own work. So using the skills and the concepts that they're learning in class for their work, but applying it to something that's not specific to their work and that has a kind of a broader cultural reach than their work does.
What has this whole experience been like for you?
Long, but very rewarding. I was able to meet people doing this that I never would have met anyway. I still keep in touch with Larry regularly. We email once a month or so. And watching him and the way that he's been able to change his life, watching the way that his changes positively impact the people that he works with has been fantastic. And then, like I said, giving students the opportunity to work on something that's not like just a class project has been huge, and something that's being broadcast around the country. So their name is in the credits, and so somebody in California will be able to see their name in the credits, and that's pretty special.
What are some things you want these students to take away from it and really have with them throughout their career?
I want them to understand that we can't do this in a bubble, that we need to work as a team, but we also need to have a team leader. And, as a director, it is the director's vision and you've got to give over to the director, but everything that you do in this context is to support the director. Just a level of professionalism in terms of showing up on time, doing the work, taking pride in the work that you do, and then having this thing at the end that you can share with the world and you can be really proud of.
What is some work that is involved in putting together a documentary film such as this one?
That's a great question. There's a lot of work. In the beginning, it's research. So I really didn't know much about prison reentry and how that worked. So in the beginning weeks, we had to research that. Larry had authored his Reentry Realities book, and I had a research staff read all of his book and then summarize the key points for me, so I was able to direct towards those key points. And then there was a lot of logistics planning. So how do we bring people into the space in which to interview? We had to prepare a lot of interview questions. We had to do a preliminary lighting setup and kind of solve all the problems in the studio to do the lighting. And then we had to do the same with our sound system, like in order to get the sound, the testing that we had to do there. So a lot of testing, a lot of pre-visualization. I always tell my students, let's try to solve the problems before the day so that on the day we can just solve the problems that we encounter on the day.
How can people stream the film in their own time?
Right now, they can't stream the film because it's somewhat distribution proprietary to the National Education Telecommunications Association, which is NATA for short, and they distribute the content to the PBS affiliates. But they can go to the website, reentryrealities.com, and they can see the trailer. They can see shots of the participants. They can see shots and bios of the crew and the producers and things like that. If then you find that you want to see it and share it, you can email me independently and I can make arrangements.
When can we expect to see future film projects?
I'm working on a project right now that's been continuing since summer of 2019. It's called HIV in the Rust Belt, and it looks at long-term HIV survivors from the Toledo region, and it talks about the early years of HIV and AIDS in Toledo. And then sort of all of the medical advances and social advances that happened. And hopefully, if we get the big grant that we asked for, will be completed sometime in 2024.
Holly Hay, film professor at the University of Toledo, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you, sir.